Are you over hearing yourself say that I'll do it tomorrow and tomorrow never comes? Or does it feel like you just never have enough time in the day to get what you really want to get done? You're not alone. If so, I have been here myself, and today what I wanted to do is show you the way that I got out of this cycle of feeling like I didn't have enough time to get what I really wanted to be doing done, and getting out of that, I'll do it tomorrow, but tomorrow never comes. So basically, when this is happening, at least for me and my clients in their experience, what's going on here is we're not honoring our yes and our no. So what that means is there may be things on our schedule that are less than exciting, or things that we're not really looking forward to doing. So that means that we're saying yes to things when we really don't want to be saying yes. And we might be saying no to things when we really want to, just because we feel like we've already committed somewhere else and we don't have time for what sounds good to us. And the reason for me that this was happening to me is because I had this fear. I had this fear of disappointing others. So I would be so afraid to say no to them if they needed me. So like if I had time and they were like, can you do this for me? And I couldn't think of a reason why I couldn't, or I didn't have something else really going on, even if I didn't want to do it, I would say yes, just because I felt obligated to do it because I had the time. But I'm here to tell you that if doing nothing sounds better than doing whatever it is that somebody else wants you to do, even if it's your good friend and they want to hang out, if I'm a single mom, like if I don't want to go out or do something, then doing nothing sounds better than going out. But I used to say yes to things like going out just because especially if I had the opportunity to go out, even if I didn't really want to, just because I was afraid of what they were going to say or the conflict. I didn't want to have an argument about the fact that I didn't want to go out. And I didn't want to hear about, oh, you never do this, you never do that, or you're always making excuses. I just wanted to avoid that conflict altogether. So I'd just be like, sure, let's go out. And I don't want to go out. So what helped me realize and start to shift that was understanding what my priorities were. Okay, so I made a list of my top five priorities. So that's like my daughter, my self-improvement, my education, my animals, my house, and just me time. Self-improvement, meditation, education, anything that had to do with me and my family and my home. Those were my top priorities. And that's what I really realized that I wanted to be spending my time doing. When I realized my top priorities, my schedule was easily filled. You'll start to realize that you might actually empower people by telling them no, because maybe they have never told someone no either. And so when you tell them no to something that you genuinely don't want to be doing, it will empower them to realize, oh wow, you're allowed to say no. Nothing happened. I didn't die. They didn't die. We're okay. It's okay to say no when we don't want to do something. And it can also have you shift your relationships a little bit. You might end up having to shift a relationship or step away from a relationship when you start to say no. But generally, it's for the best whenever you are able to start putting your priorities first, especially. So today I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a training on the easiest way. And like, whenever I say this, like, don't think you've got to like cut off all your friends or anything like that. Like, it's not like that at all. It's just slowly, one by one, cutting off things that don't excite you, that just don't light you up and make you happy. And not necessarily just replacing it, but letting that space be open and knowing your priorities so that when it comes time, if that space is open and you want to put in one of your priorities in there, you can do that. But it'll give you this sense of freedom because for the first time, you might have a free space on your calendar that you might just commit to leaving it free. And I had never done that either. Like, I would always feel like I was so busy, I didn't have time for anything. And it's because as soon as one thing would be canceled or one thing would open up, I'd stuff it with something else. I could not have a free moment. That's just how I was. I could not do it. I could not like chill out for a second. So this was a good way to practice, oh, I have free time here. And now I actually like at a certain, like each day, I have a couple of hours in my days. That's my whatever I want to do couple of hours. And I have, it's like since I've created that in my life, since I've created that space in my life, I feel so much relief. And I feel like I've taken a lot of pressure off of myself. And I've just been able to think and be and do. And that way I can get in my not so beneficial time, whether I want to binge watch Netflix or if I want to sit on my phone for a couple hours or whatever, anything that I want to do that doesn't have to do with my self-improvement, my education, anything. I usually just sit with my daughter and we watch TV, we watch a movie, I play on my phone, I do whatever, but I don't do any work and, or we play outside. We do literally, it's my whatever I want to do time. So the thing that I'm going to teach you today is how to analyze your activities and your schedule. And if you don't have a calendar or schedule, that's fine. Maybe just figure out like how you're spending your time. So just kind of replay your day in your mind and just be like, so what did I do today? And what do I usually do during the week? So these are the activities that you're doing. And notice if you do have a calendar, if you've got marked that you've got to go do this for her, do this for him, or if you notice, if it's not like that, maybe because it wasn't always like that for me, people would just text me or call me last minute and they'd be like, I need this done. And I'm just like, okay, I can do it. But I didn't want to do it because I didn't want to disappoint them, though I would say that I would do it until I started making these changes. And finally, I started saying no when people would call me, especially call me last minute, and I didn't have time to really prepare myself to go do this. Because the reason why you don't want to do that is because honestly, like look back at this time, at least for me, whenever I would do these things that I didn't really want to do, I might not have shown it, but I feel like there was no possible way that I wasn't showing it because in my mind, the whole time I was doing it, I was just like, I don't want to be doing this. Why am I doing this? Why did I agree to this? I'm just like, I can't believe I agreed to this again. I've done this to myself again. But then I'm like smiling and I'm like, yeah, I'm doing it for you because I'm a good person. And that's all it is. You want to feel like a good person. And I'm here to tell you a secret. You're still a good person, even if you say no to people, especially even people that you love. Like, because you're saying yes to you. When you say no to something you don't want to do, you're saying yes to you. And this doesn't mean you're going to say no to absolutely everything. It just means you're going to say no to the things that you are like in your head, like, no. But then sometimes your mouth is like, sure. So it's not no to everything. You can still do things for people and be and feel like a good person. You're still a good person you don't have to do anything for anybody. You don't have to prove yourself to anybody. You don't have to do anything to be a good person. You are a good person just simply because you exist. You exist for a reason. So that's irrelevant, but that's just something in us. We want to be loved and accepted. So we want to be seen as a good person. So we don't want to say no because then that fear comes up of, oh, they're not going to think I'm a nice person if I say no to them. I don't know how I'll deal with them thinking that about me. And that's normal. But it's just about being aware of that. Like, okay, so that's what's going on. That's why I am saying yes to things that I don't really want to be saying yes to. And just slowly teaching yourself how to break that cycle. Okay, so the first step into slowly starting to break the cycle and shift into a new way of spending your time in a way that's going to be more beneficial to you, in a way that's going to make you more happy, so that when you actually go do stuff for other people, you're going to feel really honored to do it. And the reason why is because you're honoring your time and your space and in yourself first. But when you're constantly not honoring your time and doing things that you don't really want to be doing, then you might show up at the next event that you were looking forward to drained because you spent all night the night before making a shirt for a friend, or doing something that you really didn't have the time or really didn't want to do, but you did it out of fear of disappointing them, because you did want to be there for them, and that's commendable. But we can't be everything for everyone. And sometimes people are going to get upset about it. But like I said, if you can look at it from the lens of, I might be empowering them to say no to somebody else when they really need to say no, just take some pressure off yourself and look at it like maybe you're teaching them something by saying no. And that's like the best way to do it. Like it's kind of hard at first, but anything new is going to feel uncomfortable. Anytime you're making a new decision or doing something new, it's going to feel like you're being stretched, because you're growing, you're doing something different, you're changing your experience. So there's nothing wrong with a little uncomfortability. If you're uncomfortable, it means you're doing it right. And you're going to be into a new experience. And after you've done it a couple of times, you're going to feel liberated, and you're going to feel like, wow, I've got more time for myself. And that way, when you have an event for somebody that you're going to be doing, you're not drained. You're super energized because you spent the day before spending time for yourself, doing things for yourself. You're making sure that your schedule and the way that you're spending your time is on your priorities. So your priorities might be your children, yourself, your education. Like I said, it could be anything. So that's your first step, is to figure out your priorities. So make a list, and I say top 5. So you don't want to do more than 5, just because there is a limited time in the day. There's limited daylight. So just choose top 5 priorities, and make sure that those are taken care of. And then, as long as you've got time for each of those 5 things during your day and during your week, then you can see what room you've got and what projects you can take on. What friends can you hang out with? When can you hang out with them? You'll start to see, and then you'll make sure that you're taken care of. Your needs, your priorities are taken care of first, and then you'll start to see how much time you truly have to take on for other people. So that way, whenever you go to the event that you took on for someone, you're super energized, you're super happy to be there, you're excited, and they can feel that. They're getting the best version of you as their help, not this drained version of you that was, like I said, doing something all day the day before. Or let's say you work 6 days a week and your only day off, you planned this event, but at the end of your days off on the 6 days of the week, you've been helping other people every day, and you've been excited for this event, but you have no energy because you've literally given your all to everyone else and to everything else. And so now it comes time for something you're excited about, or something that you truly want to be present for. You're drained. We can't be, it's like superhero syndrome. We want to be the superhero in everyone's story. But when we try to be everything for everyone, we end up being really like this big for everyone, because we're only giving everybody this much of us. But if we give ourselves as much love and attention and room as possible, we can give everyone our best self when we know that we've got the time for it. So after you've got your top 5 priorities in place and you know what they are, you can write them on a piece of paper, put them on your billboard, put them on your refrigerator, wherever that's going to help you be reminded of what these top 5 priorities are, so that you know that you're spending your time with your top 5 priorities. Next, if you do have a calendar or a schedule, then what you'll want to do is just kind of look through your week, and if there's an activity or an event or something that you've got planned that you are dreading, or if you've got multiple events that you've got planned and you're dreading, then your challenge is to cancel at least one of them. Just one. You don't have to cancel all, just one. Just cancel one of them in the next 24 hours, or find a replacement, find somebody to do it for you. So after you've canceled it or found a replacement, leave that space open. Let that space just be. And like just for this week. And then slowly each week, make sure that you're limiting or canceling one event or saying no. So going forward in the future, if somebody asks you to do something and you know you're not really wanting to do it, no, I'm sorry, I'm not available. So that way you can start limiting what you're putting on your schedule so you don't have to cancel everything. Just start saying no before you agree to it. That way you don't have to regret it and cancel it, or regret it and show up and deplete yourself. Cancel one that you've already got, and then practice saying no to future ones that you don't want. And leave that space open. And maybe you can, and if you don't have a calendar or a schedule, work on realizing I'm sure you've got like notes or something where I've got to help this person on this day. I've got to do this on this day. So cancel your one that you're dreading the most, or the one that's going to, just deplete your energy because you've done it before. You don't want to deal with it again. Find your replacement. And then going forward, make sure when people call you or text you and ask you for something, you're taking that moment to be aware of what am I really thinking about this? Do I really want to do this? Am I really emotionally available? It doesn't really matter if you're physically available. If doing nothing sounds physically better or sounds mentally better than doing whatever it is that you're being invited to do or asked of, then doing nothing is what you're doing, and you're busy. So that's just how it is. Like, it's going to help you be liberated. It's going to help you feel better. It's going to give you more time for the things that are more important to you. And you're going to be able to show up to the things that you do continue to do and help people with, the better version of you. You're going to have more energy. You're going to be happier. You're going to be more ecstatic to be there with them. And you're going to be able to show up and give your all. And people are going to see a version of you that they've never seen before. And it's because you're giving yourself priority over things that you don't really want to be doing. You are honoring yourself so that you can be honored to help others later. So this is how you can get out of that routine of being like, oh, I'll get what I need to get done tomorrow, and then tomorrow never comes. This can help you with goal setting and achieving your goals, and like having these outcomes that you're really looking for, instead of putting it to the side because other things come up and you don't want to let anyone else down. You're going to stop letting yourself down. At the end of the day, the only person that's being let down is you whenever you keep putting your needs, your priorities, and your goals to the side. So because you're the one that's upset and like ready for tomorrow to be here, and tomorrow hasn't come. So let's make tomorrow happen by putting your needs and your wants first. Like, let's start making you a priority so we can make tomorrow happen.